Get in the chat, get in the chat. We are live and well. Turning up to this good morning and looking at the fun. Looking at the fun out there. Yeah, boy. Work it, work it. So the lyrics to this one are funny. They're suggesting that when a woman has a larger VVS, that it looks like a PPS. But I think a larger VVS is more attractive. Both the clitoris and the labia, because it enhances the visual experience and allows you to, you know, have something more to suck on, so to speak. And I just think that there's a lot of things that it's tempting in the world to be distracted by, like, for example, a woman's BBS or TTS, uh, because they're like there, but that is only for children, I would say, and I think it's not for adults. You know, for men, for adults, it's like it's like anything except the vulva is kind of like, the vulva is supposed to be the that's like the more feminine expression of energy, uh, to show that off, to like it's masculine, like people like Nicki Minaj who get, breast jobs and lip jobs and try to be flashy and high heels and makeup and all. That's all actually a masculine display. The feminine display is the displaying of the flower, and also the flower being kept pure. Both men and women should work towards that end game of purifying the flower. Even if a woman's not a virgin, there should be an aim and intention to create a society oriented, because people don't realize, if people are engaged in anything besides a loving marriage, besides intimacy during marriage, then it's not love. It's not based upon love. So what I'm saying is, if somebody's doing anything outside of marriage, then it's by default not love, because love is based upon a commitment to mutual values. And these can include values such as the woman should try to, if possible, play a role of a feminine woman, and follow the man, so to speak, the masculine man. Let the man be the leader, and it doesn't have to be in. I mean, it's ideal if it's like in the financial and emotional and everything, but I think especially critically is the man's logic of his his value system, like his religion. Like, I think that's the most critical thing that a woman should go along with, because women don't really think about the future, so to speak. I mean, they can maybe if they force themselves to, but I'm saying, what's the natural way women think? And that's where I'm going to start. Let's check this video out. And by the way, that was a song featured from my playlist Ride 2021, so that's a playlist worth checking out. There's a lot of fun there, a lot of good videos to sort through. There's a lot of hype music and rap artists, but I want to start straight off with, actually, this video is funny. I just want to talk to you. I want to ask questions. This guy's like, these are like pirates, right? And so this guy's trying to interview them. So it's funny. He's like pointing to. I mean, this just shows that how, like, some people don't know the laws of the jungle. Like, these guys are clearly in it. They're in the wild. They're operating off of survival and grouping up on some type of agenda, even if it's nefarious. They're tribal, and they're like pirates. So we need to identify these people in our lives. What are they trying to take from us? Maybe they're trying to say, oh, we don't want your money, but they want your time. Like they try to be nice to you, even if they're not the same, even if they're not your brother. People might say, oh, why don't you want to be friends? Like the term friend is not, like, it's applicable to either having thousands of the friends that you are willing, or do business with and know from high school and everything, and then there's uh, another grouping of brother and sister, who are people who you should be committed to for life because you have the same values as them. Core values, like, for example, and it should be like your top maybe 3 or 4 core values. Like, for example, mine are veganism, no intimacy towards marriage, and a marriage-oriented lifestyle, and family-oriented, and maybe one other is I disavow the incorporation of pets into life, because I mean, this is just an example of the things. Especially women, what they'll do is they'll take care of pets just like they take care of children, but it's totally destructive and illogical, because it's not oriented around the our humans. We need to look out for our own. For example, women could uh, they could either put their pet up for adoption or humanely kill it, especially since they've probably already neutered it, which is the same thing as killing. And then they can, instead of spending all this time and money on pets, they can maybe volunteer for a couple afternoons at a daycare. And I say volunteer because it's like, people, we need each other. And if the people don't want to be with each other, if people don't want to be human, then we'll become extinct and we'll incarnate into another planet and another lifetime. Not the biggest deal. It's hard to say that, though, for the average person, to say, oh, no big deal. We're gonna leave this body and go into another, but it actually is. So let's get into
This
this.
will resonate with all of you. Harvard University locked a group of men in a room alone, 100 of them, and a group of women in a room alone, okay? And they said, what did you think about for 30 minutes? The men, no surprise, sex and sports. The young ladies, what did they think of for 30 minutes? They replayed conversations that they had in the last couple of days. For the record, a man has never replayed conversations that they've had.
Our
brains are different, everybody.
Do you really not do that? I feel like I overthink
No, of course not.
You
No,
don't
no,
think about
I'm making.
You've never had like a shower arguments or like shower thoughts or anything like that?
No, that's not society, my friend. That is biology. You are wired to have those rethought. We aren't. It's not a learned behavior. It's not about dolls. It's not about dresses. Our biology, our brains are made differently. Men are very forward thinking. What is next? The job, the interview, tomorrow. And
The
not saying
future.
Women aren't. Women are very reflective. Women are better at the more relational type aspects of being a nurse or an elementary school teacher. Again, that's not learned behavior. I think this will resonate with all of you. Harvard.
I actually agree with what he's saying, but I want to enhance upon it by saying that there is actually learned behavior. I think people can learn these things, and what we're talking about essentially is the difference between IQ and EQ. IQ is the ability to think steps into the advance, into the future, and EQ is the ability to empathize and recognize be able to identify what emotion someone's in and be considerate of that, and respectful, and also careful. Like, emotional intelligence is stuff like knowing that a salesperson can manipulate you by making you laugh, or getting you emotional. They can get you to make a decision, and you shouldn't make emotional decisions, and that's why you need to use emotional intelligence to know your emotions and know what's going on in your environment. I've got more videos to share. Let's go have some fun with this and see what else I have here. Okay, what's this? Here we go.
Through the rejection, whereas women don't really deal. Here's the difference, right? Like, guys get slapped in the face every day with the cold, hard, brutal truth of the world, and that's through the rejection. Whereas women don't really deal with rejection on the front end. Women deal with rejection on the back end. So basically, that's like when you.
So, what he's saying is true, but it only bears relevance to the idea of dating and not marriage, because marriage has to do with being very selective about who you propose to, and only doing it when you're prepared to propose. So the way it works, I see it, is that men will do things like they'll and women will do things like, when men are ready for marriage, they'll glance at women, and then women will give them the cue of showing off her body somewhat to him, or giving some type of nonverbal hints, and then that's a hint for him to go over and ask her, is she looking for someone to marry? Is she interested in marriage? And so the idea of what men being rejected, it's true. It's not an enjoyable experience, but you don't have to go through that experience if you're more careful and you're more formal about it. And most importantly, you want a woman for her vulva and her values. So that's different than wanting a woman for her whole body. Like, what I'm saying is, all women have similar vulvas, so it's kind of like, just pick the woman. Like, of course you want to be considerate of your personal preferences if possible, and what you find attractive, and what, is the woman strong and of a good physical build to bear children and everything like that. But let's see. Also, you see what I just did there? I'm like flexing my jaw muscle. There are these exercise things that you can bite on. It's a plastic rubber device that you can bite on. It strengthens your jaw. It allows for blood flow to the face and makes your face younger and stronger. And that's what you need for the whole body. You need all the flow, the blood flowing and everything. But the point is, you want to be really selective about a woman. Like, you don't want to just propose to someone, or you don't want to just tell a person you like her and then it doesn't work out, and then tell another person you like her, because then it makes it look like you don't know what you're doing, and it makes it look like that the second person was not your first choice. So let's keep going here. Let's see what we got.
Yourself. You know what stress is? Incongruence. Nothing more than that. You feel stressed out, you're incongruent about something. You're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're trying to, bring in new wine with old wine skins. I promise you, anytime that you are stressed, depressed, or you have anxiety, you are incongruent with the woman that you need to be, or the man that you need to be. And the second you become congruent, you'll notice peace will come over you, because it's a straight line, no longer a zigzag line. It's no longer this, it's this. All right? Pretty powerful shit. You know what stress is? Incongruence. Nothing more than that.
I like that one. That was good. It's like just saying that incongruence means your actions and your thoughts aren't aligned. Like you're not, like you're thinking about doing something, but you're not really operating on it. You know what I mean? You're thinking about doing something, but you're not acting upon it. Like you're not, and it's all about your spare time. Are you using your spare time to pursue your dreams? If you're not, then you're going to feel stressful. You're going to feel inauthentic. Here's a what else here? Oh, here we go. Let's check this out.
Married and start a family.
Why are so many men afraid to commit? Is because many women are willing to give.
People used to date for marriage. That was the point of dating, to get married and start a family.
But also, marriage wasn't always a positive thing. Marriage used to be like a man owned his wife in a lot of ways. There was more domestic violence when it
Marriage.
Also, there's less benefits to marriage nowadays too.
Marriage is the best possible thing for women. Women do better financially. Men do better financially as well when they're married. For your children, for men especially, if you grow up with a single mother, the rates of you being incarcerated, not graduating school, drugs, and all this stuff is sky high. And so marriage is the best thing that's happened for both of the sexes. I think a huge problem in our society is the lack of marriage. I think it's breaking down a lot of our cultural fabric and has very horrible implications.
So that definitely affirms my efforts. Thank you for that. Oh, this one's a good one. Watch this, you guys.
Women don't have a lot of quality options. I'll tell you that right now. There is no woman watching. Now look at the difference between these two women.
For better,
For better,
for worse,
for worse,
for richer,
for richer,
for poorer.
for poorer.
We hit that snag about 20.
So it's tempting to laugh because it's a way of socially kind of softening the intensity of it, but it's absolutely not funny at all, because you should absolutely want to be with someone even if they're rich or poor.
Real made it very clear to Johnson, you cannot be broke in sickness
In sickness
and in health.
and in health.
To love,
To love,
cherish,
cherish.
and to obey.
We didn't talk about that in
We
council.
didn't talk about that in council. Yes, we did. So you want me to repeat that again? We'll just keep going.
I think we can keep going.
All right.
I'll forever submit to you, Miles. I'll forever respect you, Miles. I'll forever honor you, Miles, as the head of our home. In heaven, they hear. On earth, I declare and decree, I shall be a submissive wife unto you.
I don't know about you, but I know which one I'm willing to be.
Hey. And guys, it's like, this all happens before you get married. Like, people think that people are trying to guys are trying to manipulate women into doing this. No, this all happens as a prior agreement too. And it's not about the man specifically, like the guy being like better than the lady as a human being. It's about wanting to act out the roles and having the courage as a woman to recognize that you're not going to think as well as the man logically and into the future often. And and the reality is that people's hormones do fluctuate. Like, I think, what I understand, women get more testosterone when they get older. So I think it's the testosterone hormone that really makes you think more logically, and the estrogen that makes you think more about trying to just connect in relationships, and even, but not necessarily rational relationships. Like, for example, a woman can be friendly to anyone, but a man will be more selective about who he'll be friendly to, because he wants to only connect with people who have the same values as he does. But women are just kind of will. And again, this is not I'm just saying men, maybe I should say the masculine and the feminine, not men and women, because men and women can. Like, here's the great thing about, if you're watching a show like I'm presenting, whether you're a man or a woman, you can now be conscious of these things and make sure you don't make these mistakes. So, but that was a good clip there. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Check this one out. This was a whole interview she did. Let's Let's try it out. So this is a clip from that interview.
Men can go with a chick for peace. I'm good here. Women cannot be good here. They need that face, body.
Come on.
I could be dating David Beckham, right? Who is David Beckham? But if I realize in very few conversations that they're an idiot, I can tell him I'm here and he believes me, or I can tell him I lost my wallet and he gives me money, or I can tell him I'm with my friends and really I've got another man here and he believes me. David Beckham becomes somebody I don't respect. David Beckham becomes somebody I'll leave on red and won't even reply to his messages. The ability to manipulate a man is something that not all women are intending to do this. We're not intending to do this. A lot of women, majority of women are not intending to do this. But when they meet a man they can do that to, good women filter themselves away from him. If a good woman would see that, even David Beckham is I don't want anything to do with it, he's lost his appeal. It will make only bad women select you. Women that are planning to come home late, women who are planning to talk to their ex-husband or ex-boyfriend. And here's why it kills attraction so deeply. It kills attraction is because fundamentally we're still looking for. I could be dating David Beckham.
Okay, so what she's saying is that nice guys who can be manipulated by women are unattractive to women. So, for example, a guy who desperately wants a woman, like they get distracted by the woman's like facial beauty or her whole body, but don't focus on her vulva and don't focus on her values. So it's pretty much that simple. It's like, and then that helps you to really reduce it down to like a simple thing. Like, would you really want to worship this woman and give her you dedicate your life to her? Because she's the one who's going to be raising your children. So it only makes, because you're going to be working. This is the average situation, guys. And so you want a woman who is going to be like working with you and teaching your values, because you have shared values, to your children while you're working. And that's okay. What else do we have here? Let's check this one out too.
Men can go with a chick for peace. I'm good here. Women cannot be good here. They need that face, body, and attitude. They're missing any of that, bro. They won't act right. Daddy, stop saying that. They don't want your motherfucking leadership. Man, throw this motherfucking hat away. No, they want face, body, and attitude. Women watching me, they're probably going 2 for 2. Trust me, because there's no woman going 4 for 4 right now watching me. She don't have time to watch me. She's looking, sucking, and doing jobs and building a life. That's what the she's doing. So women don't want your leadership unless you go 4 for 4 with her ass. I like his face. I like his genetics. I want my baby to have his face. Number 2, this motherfucker got a body. I like his shoulders. I like his back. I like his legs. 3, he tears his. And 4, this motherfucker got an attitude like I've never experienced before. If you don't go 4 for 4, you are not getting a woman's best. You don't have to watch no more dating shows, no more dating coaches. You don't have to watch. That's the truth. Men can go with a chick for peace. I'm good here. Women cannot be good here. They need that face, body, and attitude.
So what he's saying is that women do want to the genetic aspect, and men should want the genetic aspect as well. But the transcendence of all of this, of the imperfections of life, of the imperfections of the difficulties of life and flaws of a man's body and flaws of a woman's body, is just the vulva, celebrating the vulva and making that the center of the conversation, of the compliments, of the attention towards her, instead of the man wanting attention towards his PPS, for example. Okay, continuing on here, let's see what this here.
Over our fellow man, which is completely our initial instincts, our initial reaction is going to be self-preservation first over our fellow man, which is completely the opposite of what people think of when they think of utopia. And they think in utopia, they think that your fellow man's watching out for you. I'm sorry, that's not how human beings work. We are pack animals. We are tribal creatures, which means we bond into packs and we bond into tribes, not because we care about the other people in the tribe. It's because we know that the tribe can take care of us. That's what makes us tribal. Just like wolves, just like lions, right? That's why we come together, because we see a benefit for ourselves when we're together.
Okay, so that's an awareness into psychology. All right, what's going on here? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is a controversial video. I want you guys to check this out. This is like a very truth, I think, revealing video. So here's a good one. The Bible talks about the serpent, but nobody asks about what the serpent was doing there. Okay, so this video is going to reveal some hard realities about demonic spiritual interference, and I want to summarize it like this. There are different entities out there, and they often need a person's body to possess in order to operate. So for example, they need the president's body in order to operate and do and make destructive, evil decisions, and so on and so forth. And so to counteract these, and so how do they get access to a person's body? Well, maybe the person being too emotional, and then their brain can be tapped into from another force. Or a very obvious one is if a person's drunk, then obviously a demon can enter into them. Another mistake is people think that there's like there's only a few demons, there's only one devil. No, there's lots of demons all over the place, and they can inhabit and possess people. So then how do you protect against this? Well, the number one solution is light work. Visualizing brilliant white light streaming through the third eye. Blast it by imagining a brilliant stream of light blast around you. Blast other people's third eyes. Blast their bodies. Imagine people smiling and bright white light auras. You can do this especially for people who are authority figures that might be targets. I think a lot of also Jewish people are targets of demons, because from what I see, Jewish people they're high in the IQ logic, but they're low in emotional intelligence, and therefore it would be like useful to possess the body of a Jewish person, because their mind is smart and they can use it to create do things. And so how does this play out in the real world? Well, things like in Hollywood, like Jewish producers, perhaps they will promote certain anti-human agendas, or like doctors will promote big pharma, or even stuff like the circumcision, which is just like a way of torturing a child. And then things like Jewish attorneys, what do attorneys sometimes end up doing? They end up benefiting from people's suffering, so they prolong that suffering by working with the courts and the judges to prolong and extend these cases and just drag out the suffering, instead of offering more simplified and rational solutions. And I'm not saying that they always do this consciously, but I'm saying that smart people, whatever ethnicity they are. And then the other mistake about Jewish people, two other mistakes, is they consider themselves matriarchal, which is a horrible idea for any man to follow a woman, because women don't think towards the future. In fact, women are very good at deceiving themselves. And the reason for that is because women have to adapt and survive, and they've had to for most of existence. Unfortunately, they've been villages have been raped and pillaged, and they've had to acclimate to having different husbands or different, and so. But again, check this video out. This specific video, guys. It's very heavy stuff.
Very large reptilian race. They're known as the Dracs. There is a royal line of the draconian reptilian race, and then they're called the Seeker. They range anywhere from 14, 15 to 22 feet tall. They can weigh up to 1,800 pounds. They do have winged appendages, and they are awesome beings. They're extremely clairvoyant, they're extremely clever, and they can also be extremely sinister. They apparently were brought to our time and space, our universe, in full physicality. Somebody brought them here and dumped them here. I don't know, and the Andromedans still don't know. But they were brought here in physicality, and they were taken to Alpha Draconis and stars nearby because it gave them the greatest chance of survival. So they were kicked out of some other place. Anyway, they are definitely a major factor to be reckoned with. They, for the most part, are service to self. They do not care for the human race because when they were dumped here, they were told that this was theirs to command. So whoever did this really screwed up. And they still have this mindset. They were one of the first to chart our solar system. In fact, they were the first of the ET races to actually put their flag on it and say it's theirs. Apparently, some of them still have the attitude that everything on it, in it, still belongs to them. And I understand that some of them have been coming back, and more will be coming back. It's going to get real interesting, folks. I can't begin to tell you how interesting it's going to get. They apparently they have had space travel for 3 billion years. They are a remarkable race. They really are. But they have an attitude. And a lot of human races in our galaxy and outside our galaxy have had problems with them. And I don't want to say that all of them are like that, but that's really all that I've heard from the Andromedans. They've had major problems.
Andromedans are other humans and other
they are definitely reptilian. They look like
planets.
Velociraptors, except they're like 22 feet. And they're smart, they're intelligent, they can build. They're just very, very different from us. They apparently attacked Lyra or came across human colonies in Lyra. Now, the human race was not created in Lyra, okay? It was brought there to survive. And again, the Lyra, from what the Andromedans have told me, for some reason, once they go back approximately 427 million years, they just don't know what else is there. For some reason, there's no history beyond that, even though the physicality is there. So I don't know if it's being blocked from a higher level or what. They don't even know. The Draconians were flying through there. They came across these human colonies who were agricultural in nature. Basically because of their talents of horticulture and plant science, they were literally making the planets greater and better. Little gardens. When the Draconians flew by and they saw this incredible wealth of food, they basically wanted to control it. And apparently there was a misunderstanding between the lion races then, who were human, and the reptilian race, because the Lyrans wanted to know more about the Draconians.
It's Lyran, as in the people from the solar system, Lyra, not lions.
Reptilian race before they gave them what they wanted. And apparently the Draconians misunderstood it and literally went back and then attacked the planets and killed a lot of people, blew up 3 planets. And the Lyrans were literally forced to migrate and scatter into different parts of our galaxy. So it did in a way facilitate colonization. And I wrestle with whether the draconians.
So we probably came from that star system, or the Lyran planet. We're probably part of that colonization of humans trying to find other planets to escape the Dracos.
Planted here specifically to force us to evolve, or if there's some other agenda here. I simply don't know that. But that's basically what I know. I do know that not only them, but other reptilian races that are descended from them. Also, the Draconians, the reptilian races, are master geneticists. And I'm told that most of the dinosaurs and many other life forms that were on Earth were brought here then. Also on Mars. Apparently Mars was very much like the Earth at one time. And they came to Mars first. That's literally where our human form was created, by the way.
Wow.
Was on Mars. That's where the primate and the human genes were brought together. Was on Mars. And then we were brought here to work as slaves in the mines.
So my curiosity would be, why, if they had a lot of machines, then why would they need slaves to work in the mines? But still, I do think that they probably needed them for different reasons, or maybe just, well, we'll see. Let's see the rest of the video.
Okay, so we're still working for a paycheck. And they enjoy human flesh, and they enjoy children mostly for two reasons. One, they don't have the pollutants, the caffeine, the nicotine, and things of that, all the processed foods that the adults have. And two, when they're put into a state of fear, their energy field and their adrenaline just explodes, and they get a rush from it. Be dedicated to family and be dedicated to each other, folks. That's the only way we're going to get through a lot of this.
Yeah, so that's the disturbing reality. I'm imagining that if you've looked into this stuff, that this video is consistent with what you've heard. Like, as in people like the Clintons being possessed by these demons and then doing child sacrifices. But guys, unless you're vegan, you're doing this to other animals too. So we need to clarify our karma as humans in order to properly counteract these other evil forces that are out there. And you might think, well, why are the evil forces out there? Well, because we, as the creative force in the universe, we allowed for things to happen to make life more interesting. And so force us to have to do things in the physical realm to make life interesting. But we can work together, and we can make the world peaceful if we do our light work and we consciously and actively operate against these dark forces and move more towards the light and goodness and love as we can. Okay, so what else?
So welcome back to Love. Welcome back to the Love 24 Hours, here where we bring content that can either brighten or enlighten your day. All right, you guys. So yes, I don't have anything for you guys.
And that's okay if both of you agree on those terms. She may agree. We have a pleasure contract. We got an economic contract where you're going to take care of me. And as long as you take care of me, I'm going to be your woman. The Puff Daddy arrangement. You feel me? That works for some people. No, you have women like that. You have men like that. Right. I'm going to floss you up. And as long as I floss you up, you're going to be loyal to me. But that's a contract. That's not love. Contracts are different from love. Why? Contracts are conditional. Right. Love is unconditional. If I love my queen,
so again, like I was suggesting earlier, I don't think love is unconditional. I think love is based upon having shared values and interests. And so that's why you really want to know yourself and really want to ask questions to yourself about who you are and what are some core values that you have. That way you can ensure that, and also part of it is that people might change. Like, for example, when you're married, you know, you might change, your wife might decide to stop being vegan or be vegan, just as an example. So just make sure you really know who you are. And let's see here. So the reality is it's this simple. Women want a man who's aligned with his values, and her physical appearance can't control that. Like, no matter if I was attracted to a woman, if she's not vegan, I wouldn't marry her and I wouldn't want to be intimate with her. A lot of guys would want to be intimate with her, but that's not love, and it's not the energy of love. It's not the vibration of love. It's the frequency of lust and seducing someone. Let's see here. What else do we got here? Let's check this one out.
Kathy donated $99.
Hey, thank you, Matthew.
The only thing body count determines is how experienced your partner is in the bedroom. I've hooked up with virgins and they were all ZZZZZZZ. Boo Balor is hands down the best sexual partner I've ever had that continues to surprise me and blow my mind. Ha ha.
He's very open, but no, I don't know. Thank you.
So this is your boyfriend who's just sent a TTS to a live fiance to live stream, advertising your sexual abilities. I don't. Hey, different strokes for different folks. But okay.
So this idea that a guy would prefer a woman who's very experienced in bed, like, what does experience even mean? Like, why would you want somebody to have other memories and other experiences with other people, be it a man or a woman? And this isn't to say you shouldn't experiment with yourself. You should be very familiar with yourself. Women should essentially and critically use dildos, sex toys, men as well, the pocket stroke, the stroker devices. I always recommend the Doc Johnson main squeeze line, and there's different ones. The Sophie D one is one I recommend specifically. I've tried multiple of them, and I think that one is, very realistic. And so you guys should be shooting for that. And let's see here.
Like, okay, I mean, I'm the only guy here, but I mean, we've asked guys this question before, and this is often a common attempt at a rebuttal to the whole body count thing. Well, as a guy, like, don't you want a girl who's sexually experienced? Isn't the sex gonna be better? Perhaps, but like, there's other factors when it comes to attractiveness, like, and also, like, as a guy, typically,
like, the idea of wanting a woman who's sexually experienced is feminine. That's meaning you want the woman to, like, take the lead. That means you're a feminine guy. You know what I mean? And maybe that's you're okay with that, but as long as you're conscious of that,
if you know how to lead in the bedroom, you can take a girl who's never had sex and have great sex with her. I'll finish after this. Thank you, Prometheus.
People with high body counts are desensitized to understand relationships and if they can honor it or respect it.
Word. Thank you, Prometheus. Yeah, this idea, like, also, like, a woman who's been in one long-term relationship, you could argue that she's maybe had sex more often with that, with that one person, versus a girl, like, let's say a girl has had sex with one guy 1,000 times versus a girl who's had sex with 100 guys one time each. I mean, I'm gonna probably think, like, the girl who was in the relationship probably is going to be better. In any case, as a guy, if you know how to lead in the bedroom, like, you can take a girl who's never had sex before and have great sex with her. Who was it who...
I mean, the idea that people can't have good sex, even if they're sex organs are not that compatible, like it's just silly because there's always going to be a lot of pleasure involved in there regardless, as long as both people care about and love each other. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, like this whole idea of that you need to have sex with someone to know what the sex would be like. That means that people think that you can't have a conversation about it. And obviously this is after getting to know each other and finding common interests, then you can share more personal things with each other. And this can all be platonic in an email thread. You can talk about that, and then you could talk about personal stuff like your how frequency and how much you like to have sex, and then stuff like finances, personal stuff, all stuff you can talk about in a respectful, platonic way. So we get that, we get the idea there. Let's see, what about this one?
Hookups don't hook up with
Exactly.
anybody, whether you're experienced
Because
or not.
if they're
That's
doing
not
it,
marriage,
yeah,
they
if they're
won't.
doing it once and then they're not talking to her again, they might as well have an experienced woman.
Okay, so what was that? I'm trying to think what just happened there. So they might as well have. Okay. Let me.
Do have a higher body count.
Seek sexually experienced women for hookups, and they seek non-sexually experienced women.
Any
Hold on, go
man,
ahead, go ahead,
I
go ahead,
think
go ahead.
most men seek sexually experienced women for hookups, and they seek non-sexually experienced women for relationships.
See, I don't think they care for hookups. For hookups, they'll hook up with
Exactly.
anybody, whether you're experienced
Because
or not.
if they're
but
doing
for
it,
marriage,
yeah,
they
if they're
won't.
doing it once and then they're not.
So that should pretty much tell you everything you need to know. Let's see if we have anything else here. Oh yeah, this was a good one. This caller roasted these guys. I don't know if you saw this. They
Not true.
Okay,
Took her
so
out.
caller, are you
Took her on the yacht, and then that
caller?
situation, bro. She doesn't like you for you because that's what you said, Chris. You said she likes me for me,
Mhm.
and you said that she was attracted to my game, but you did not. You did not see the signs that she didn't. That's just not true.
Okay,
took her
so
out.
caller, are you
Took her on the yacht, and then that.
caller? Go,
And I still haven't gotten a yes or no, but please go on, man.
all right,
I still
caller.
haven't gotten an answer to the question.
Caller, we've talked about this before, okay? When you deal with girls, a lot of times what'll happen is they'll flake, right? It depends on how you meet her, right? We've had it before where, and I've talked about this explicitly, you'll match with a girl on Tinder, she won't.
So like what they're saying is that this fresh guy that he messed up, and it is true, he didn't answer a yes or no question. So he basically got burned in this and then his friend Fit is trying to back him up, but
She won't meet up with you, whatever it may be. Then maybe you match with her on a sugar site. She messages you on a sugar site, or you run into her at a party. Then all of a sudden, things change. And then what he did was, yo, this girl's flicked on me before, put her on a list. All right, I'm going on a yacht. I'm gonna invite all 10 of these girls that I've talked to before on my contact list to come on this yacht. She said, okay, I didn't want to link with you before, but since you're going on a yacht, I'm gonna come. What does that do? That presents an opportunity for him to spit his game. If she did not like him, she would not have hung out with him after the.
so all this is so complicated. Like I just like to simplify it. Where do you like her values, and do you want to celebrate and worship her vulva? And this a lot has to do with skin tone. Like what color will her vulva be? Basically, is the variation, right? So that's something you need to be conscious of. But that's going to be what, as a man, will give you a sense of peace and serenity. It's not. The sexual aspect is never going to give you a sense of peace. Having your own orgasms is important, self-intimacy, and of course intimacy. And by the way, all these guys that talk about nofap, that you're going to have energy if you don't orgasm, yes, it's true, but I think it's only useful for like a couple days. If you really need to get something done, you have nofap. But overall, you need to control and release that energy, or your whole life will be charged up by wanting to have sex with someone and needing them to help you have an orgasm, which is You don't want to be in a place where you need anything from anyone. And what these guys are talking about here is they're talking about how, you know, all this complications of trying to seduce and get women in a situation like be on a yacht so that they'll want to talk to you. And it's all absurd because it's all superficial. We know that, we understand that, but it's important to actually look into, because these guys, at least they're willing to talk earnestly about this stuff. Most men, this is like a secretly.
Are you correct in the sense that she flicked on the past? Hold on. Are you correct in the sense that she flicked on a prior?
I agree with you, Mark. I agree with you.
Okay, so like, bro, you got to understand that this is sales. There's multiple points of contact. A lot of the times you got to talk to a customer 6 or 7 or 8 times to make the sale. She flicked before, that's what it is.
Customer. Notice how they're referring to women as customers.
Girls, they flake all the time. Then he says, yo, I'm gonna put her on my contact list, invites her, 10 other girls. She decides to show up to the yacht. He's able to go ahead and talk to her, which is game, by the way, FYI. And then they end up hanging out after the fact. Did he ever wife her? No. She watched his dog. Yes, she had questionable TikToks, but the whole reason why him and her didn't work is because he was fucking other bitches, bro. If you want to really.
So, again, effing other bees, like, is that really the type of person you want to be around? Do you really want to be around a woman that you don't respect?
And then she replied. She responded to a comment specifically naming you. That's the literal opposite.
She didn't name me, by the way.
You got caught tricking. You got caught tricking.
She didn't name me at all, and it's very general.
No.
Hold on. Look at her pic. Wait, hold on. See, this is where you're wrong. Look at. No. Hold on. If you're gonna say that, I'm gonna respond and kill you right now.
It's funny. Oh, here's a good one.
Yet, I think if anything, it gave men more power. I remember thinking about this many years ago when I was in college, and the hookup culture was really burgeoning. I thought, is this the greatest trick that men ever played on women? That these women who call themselves feminists think that they're going to be empowered by letting men just use them whenever they want and then cast them aside and go sleep with some other woman. Girl power.
I completely agree, and I actually don't think women are the culprit or feminists are the culprit today of hookup culture. I think it's
really burgeoning. I thought
that was a good one. And there we go, guys. I'm gonna call it for now. Let's do a quick light work session to recap again. A lot of interesting stuff thrown out there, but you guys, let's just, whatever issue you're dealing with, or you're dealing with someone who you romantic interest, but you're not ready for marriage, and so you don't want to feel the pressure or tension of having to feel like you need to rush to, and maybe it is a good incentive to be attracted to someone and want to build yourself up as a man to be a viable husband. Yeah. But the reality is that we can use light work in order to make things feel more harmonious and synchronized and serendipitous and feel good. Like, life is supposed to be good, but it takes creative thinking. It takes spiritual and physical work approaches in order to make life work. So, we're talking along the lines of imagining somebody you're attracted to. Maybe it's your wife. Maybe you're hearing all of what I'm saying and you're worried that you're only dating with a quote-unquote girl, quote-unquote friend, and that you don't know how to merge that into asking her for a marriage. So maybe so just use the light work. Imagine this person smiling. Imagine, you can visualize the bright white light beaming like a laser beam, like a wand. You beam and you imagine it streams through her brilliant white light. The light, it's shining, and she's happy, and people react, wow, look at how happy she is, and imagine she's protected with this brilliant white aura, this field, and now let's do it to your immediate proximity. Like, imagine you're blasting like your room, your computer, like the brilliant white light laser streams through your computer, through your phone. You do this throughout the day too. You're activating everything that's around you. You're protecting it from dark forces. Organization also protects from dark forces because it keeps the mind clear. Anything that keeps the mind clear, you look around you, you want to see organization, and then it helps the mind feel, organized. And so we can also do this light work. Let's say you're having a situation at work. You're not sure. Maybe someone's trying to you're dealing with a difficult salesperson, or you're dealing with somebody at work who you're feeling like you should get a raise, or you're trying to figure out what job you should do. Just imagine a bright beam of light, like you're an angel flying through. Imagine a brilliant lights blasting through the place of work, and you see it streaming in brilliant white light. All the tools or whatever you're using to work, your coworkers, blast them all like you're an angel flying by, and you just flying down and scan everyone with brilliant white light. Now let's fly more. Let's scan into the city. Let's scan, blast people, all the people going by. Imagine them smiling, reacting, jubilant. And then let's fly all the way to, well, if you're in America, let's fly to the White House. Let's imagine a brilliant stream of light shining down. Remember, like I discussed in my interpretation of these evil characters, is they will go to they'll use people who are in leadership positions to try to control and influence the world. And so we want to imagine brilliant white light just stream. It just completely protects us from all these dark forces and blast away. We want the world to be ours for humans. We don't want it to be for these Draco nefarious interdimensional characters. This is our world, and so we're going to own it. We're going to own this world. We're going to take responsibility for it and protect it on both a physical and spiritual level. And that does include things like going vegan, because how can we protect it when we're doing just as evil as the Dracos, killing children for consumption? It's just as disturbing as people killing an innocent cow for consumptions. So yeah, let's end with a final positive note. Imagine the brilliant white light. Imagine, just beam yourself, for example. For a moment. Beam your legs. Beam your vehicle that you use. Blast that brilliant white light. Blast it through your heart. Imagine. Check out, by the way, I've got the heart badge there, shieldheart.org, on my heart. So imagine that brilliant white light blasting through your heart. And there we go. It's been good being tuned in with you, and hopefully you got something you've never heard before, or some new ideas, and we're going to keep going with it. We're going to celebrate the vulva, encourage both men and women to celebrate the vulva, and that's our human experience. Aloha, guys. Flower power.